movies running all evening. We have Ghost today.
Hello, sinners. It is I, Father Evil, and I invite you to Destination Station on YouTube.
Bagels and go to Destination Station. This buddy is the bomb.
Yep.
Love it.
Yep.
Fucking A.
Yep.
I had to say that for a reason.
Freddie, take that, motherfucker.
All right. Okay. Fuck you. Yeah.
Jamie Kennedy. Subscribe to my man, Destination Station right now if you want the best content.
What is up? Welcome to another night of Saw Talk. It is Saw Week. Tonight, I wanted to discuss our final predictions and theories on the upcoming Saw X movie. It kind of snuck up on me. It's coming out Friday. I'm pretty sure. I'm not quite sure whenever the embargo lifts, but I'm pretty sure we're going to be bombarded with a bunch of reviews and everything with this film. I'm surprised it hasn't lifted already. There might be some reviews out there, but no spoilers in the chat, please, because I don't want to know anything. I'm going to see it Thursday night. But I want to discuss this with y'all. I want to get our final predictions and theories, because you know what Saw is all about. It's all about the big twists. It's almost like, you know, you can't really compare it to Scream, but it's like a whodunit as well. You got that big twist. You got the apprentice, or you got, you know, somebody else behind the Jigsaw killings. So yeah, tonight we're going to discuss all that, everything that is leading up to this point. But I got a couple friends that are hanging out with me tonight as well, so let's welcome them. I got Dom St. Clair in the house. He's not new to the channel, but he is a good friend of mine. He's part of the fam. What's going on, Dom?
What's going on?
How you doing tonight, man? You excited for some Saw? Are you all sawed out?
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited for Saw. I'm interested to see what they do with it. I did see the trailer, so I got a glimpse of what, you know, the story is going to be about. So I'm pretty excited for it. I know it's like a prequel, so I like prequels and see like how everything unfolds before the movie. They came after that, you know, when it comes to like the story, you know, just how it all unfolded, and it leads into like Saw 2, I'm guessing, because it's in between Saw 1 and 2, I'm assuming. So I'm interested to see what they do with it for sure.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious about that myself. I don't know if, like, I can't see it just like ending right here, you know, like Saw X, because like wouldn't they market it as like this is the end and all that kind of stuff? It's never going to be the end. As long as it's financially successful, it'll never be the end. So yeah, we're going to get into all that tonight. Absolutely. I got another friend here tonight, a good friend of the channel. We're going to be hanging out soon at Scarefest. We got a lot of stuff coming up in the works, and you know him. And if you're not subscribed to these guys, do yourself a favor and subscribe to Dom, and also my good friend Eric over at the Bearded Entertainment. What's up, Eric?
Hey, buddy.
What's going on, bro?
Man,
how you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm good. But by the way, Scarefest, that's also kind of sneaking up on me. I was thinking about it, like, I was talking about it with Chrissy, my fiance, and I was like, wait a minute, that's like less than a month away.
Yeah, dude. It's like 3 weeks away. Maybe,
yeah,
like,
pretty much. It's
3.5.
The 20th, but I actually leave out the 19th. So, man, it's coming up. That's going to be exciting. But yeah, I agree. Saw X did kind of sneak up on me too.
Yeah, there was a lot of marketing, you know, around it, and then it was kind of like hush hush, you know, like we had all this other news coming out that, you know, with with Scream getting a new director, and we got some stuff with The Exorcist. You know, we got what is it? The Pet Cemetery Bloodlines, the prequel to Pet Cemetery coming out on Paramount Plus. I'm kind of looking forward to that. Don't have my high hopes for that, but there's like a lot of good, like, what do you say, like stuff that's like flying under the radar lately.
Well,
or maybe it's just not the big marketing on it. I don't know.
Dude, honestly, I think the strikes is what did it, because like all the news has been on the strikes. Like, when are they going to end? What's going on with them? So I feel like the entertainment news people have been more focused on talking about that rather than because if they're advertising for movies, then they're, you know, kind of advertising against the unions, if that makes sense, because you know, instead of giving focus on the strikes and the unions, they're giving focus to make the, you know, the studios more profitable with the movies. So I think the strikes have a little bit to do with it, because you're right, there was some great marketing for it, and then it just, I don't know, I feel like we knew it
fizzled out.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be there, but it just was kind of in the back of our mind, and you know, you'd see a new poster like, oh yeah, Saw X, that comes out soon, and then I got tickets for it this Thursday, and I realized like, oh, that's this Thursday.
Yeah,
and I actually realized I can't go on Thursday, so I'm gonna have to like reschedule, unless I can find an earlier showing. That's the thing. I like to see them early, like first.
Are you an AMC stub member?
Bro, I got a little rant to talk about with that. Okay, so dude, I just had this. I was right, and then I was doing some financial like restructuring and stuff. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna cancel that for a minute and work on stuff, and then I was gonna look back into doing it so I could go to the movies a lot more often. And do you know about Mystery Movie Monday at Regal?
No.
Okay, so Regal movies have this thing called Mystery Movie Monday. I don't know how often it is. It's at least once a month. But what they do is on Monday, it's $5, but you don't know what the movie is. All you know is it's something that's going to be coming out weeks or months from now. But you get
like in the future? Yeah. Oh, okay.
But it's at $5, you get a seat, but you don't know what it is until you go in there. Like
it could be any genre.
It could be any movie. Like Killjoy Jake. Killjoy Jake ended up seeing, I believe it was Evil Dead Rise, like 6 or 7 weeks before it came out.
What? Why haven't I known about that? I think we got some Regal cinemas around here.
Okay, so I was looking, I was like, okay, well maybe I'll join Regal Cinema because they have something that's very similar. Mm-hmm. So I can add on and start doing those. So I joined it. Man, it's so much worse than AMC. Like, I would not recommend joining it at all. Regal,
really?
I doubt you're listening. But okay, so you know, are you AMC subs member?
I am. Yeah.
Okay, you know how if as an AMC subs member, you go in, you select your seat, you go through zero charge for the movie, right? Nothing.
Yeah.
Unlimited. Or 3 movies a week, I think it is. Okay, well...
Yeah, it's 3 movies a week, yeah.
Okay, so...
It kind of pays for itself.
Oh, yeah, it really does. Regal Cinemas, first of all, you can't sit as a single viewer anywhere you want. You can't sit between people, and you can't sit on an end row.
Yeah.
So, I think that's crazy. You can't do that. But then, you also have to pay like a processing fee. Even though it's free unlimited movies, it's like 53 cents each time you want to watch a movie. And dude, it is so long.
What okay, but do you ever get to, like, I mean, is it few and far between you actually get to see like really good movies? Well, no, or is it like a lot of independent stuff?
No, it's the exact same thing as AMC stubs, man. Any new movies that come out, it's all the same thing. It's the exact same way. The only difference is it's worse because, one, you have to pay to see the movie. So like, whereas for Saw X, if you want to go in at AMC Stubs, you just click, find your seat, you go for it, and you're done. With
Right.
Regal in their app, first of all, as a single viewer, which I will be, you can't sit between people and you can't sit on an end row, like the end of the row.
Okay.
So you have to click around to find a seat that you can actually get. But
Yeah.
then when you check out, instead of it actually being free, you got to pay like the 53 cents processing fee.
Okay. Does
So
it charge you like right there after the movie's over?
It charges you when you get it. Yeah.
Oh,
It's-
okay.
So but it's just like, so it's not actually free. No, the one thing that it does have over AMC Stubs is it's unlimited. So it's not just 3 a week. You can see
Oh,
unlimited movies. However,
$5 a month?
no. It's the $5 is only for the Mystery Movie Monday.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I misunderstood.
Yeah. So, but that's the whole reason I joined Regal instead, and I immediately is like, I'm canceling this. This is within 30 minutes of joining it. I'm like, I'm canceling this after a month, and I'm going back to AMC. I'll just, whenever the Mystery Movie Mondays come back, I'll just pay the $5 to go watch that.
Right. Yeah. That's it's interesting though. Those Mystery Monday films or whatever. Like I like that aspect.
Yeah, and if you got a Regal near you, man, you can go online and get tickets just for that. And like I said, it's $5. I think they do them like once a month, but like I said,
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask.
yeah, it's not weekly, and from what I've seen, it kind of looks like it's once a month. But the next one is the 9th of October, so it's like it's in 2 weeks.
And it's always on a Monday, so yeah. Okay.
Always on a Monday.
Is there a certain time, or is it like all day?
I think it's 7 p.m. on Mondays.
Okay.
But
I like
anyways,
that. I might just do that.
I am also an AMC Stubs member. So yes,
Long story short, or short story long.
Regal. After that, I'm like, I gotta find a way to give Regal a terrible review, because it's also their app just crashes. Like,
Regularly.
yeah, like I was trying to get a ticket to go see A Haunting in Venice,
Mm-hmm.
and it got
saw
to
it.
it got to the part where it was like checking out, and then it crashed. But then when I went back in to look at it, that seat was taken, and it told me I had seats, but I never got a receipt for it. So, dude, it's just stick with AMC. But yeah, what did you think of Haunting in Venice?
It wasn't bad. I liked it. It was okay. I could have. It's a movie. Definitely, probably should have came out on Netflix or a streaming service. Just because
Really?
I liked. Yeah, I mean, like I thought it was good, but I don't think it's anything to rush out and go see. I don't know if I was expecting more, or something just wasn't capturing me into the movie. I do like what was being presented. I liked the whole setup, the concept of the whole thing. I like the camera angles and stuff like that was like kind of like Dario Argento or whatever his name is. Like, kind of had like those like really low and up close shots and stuff like that, and close corridors. Like, I kept seeing this movie like see it in IMAX, watch it on the biggest screen, whatever. And I'm like, I don't really think it's needed for that, just because of the way the movie is shot. It was okay. It was good. I liked it.
Did you like Murder on the Orient Express or Death on the Nile, the first two?
I think when I think back on them, I think I like Death on the Nile the most.
Same here.
Just because of how vibrant it was. Yeah, there was some CGI stuff, like background, like green screen and stuff that I was like, that's a little too fake. But just the way it all unfolds, it was just kind of like a little bit more of a fun movie, I guess, than the other two. This one, I wanted it to hit, and I wanted it to hit hard, and I just don't feel like it did. I felt like there were certain things that was a little bit predictable.
I think they advertised it too much as a horror movie as well, and it did not.
They did do that.
It did not live up to be a horror movie. It was.
But I knew I knew what I was getting into before I saw it.
Yeah,
so I could see a lot of people being. Fan. Oh yeah, me too. Absolutely. I mean, I'm like never read the books or anything, but I've always liked the adaptations to film. They're great whodunits. Really good stuff. I know there's like some straight to like DVD stuff, like The Crooked House and stuff like that. I've never seen those type of movies. It's got like Glenn Close. It's got like an all-star cast. They always have like this all-star cast. And Then There Were None. I love that little mini series. That was great. I'm pretty sure that's been adapted a few times, but I loved it. It's just, I don't know. Like, I like Kenneth Branagh, but I don't think that I kind of get tired of his character a little bit after a while. Like, I'm kind of like,
I love his Poirot.
I think he's great. I just want him to be a supporting cast, not the main character.
Oh no, man! I could always use more of it. Like his his witty banter and like his social awkwardness. Love it.
Yeah.
Sorry, but yeah, I just want to know what you thought of it. I enjoyed it. It's probably my second favorite of the big three adaptations. Mm-hmm. I agree. I think Death on the Nile is my favorite. Then Haunting in Venice, and then Murder in the Orient Express. I don't like.
I need to rewatch it.
The way it plays out, I'm totally on board with, but I'm not on board with the ending and the way it goes. It's just
that's what I do remember, and I'm kind of like, I remember not being like, that's not the twist I really was wanting.
Oh no, the twist I thought was great. It's how Hercule Poirot
I need to rewatch it. It's been a while since I've seen it.
How he handles it is so out of character, and I'm like, I don't like that because that's not what he would do. So, but I thought the twist and like everything, I thought that was great. I thought the setup, the play out was great, but then it gets to that part, and I'm like, you just ruined the whole movie for me because anyways. Yeah. How about that Saw movie?
Right, what we're here for. What's the main course? Dom, before I get to the comment section and we get on some Saw talk, have you had a chance to check out any of these? Have you seen A Haunting in Venice or any of these films we were talking about, like Murder on the Orient Express and Death on the Nile?
I have not seen Haunting in Venice or Orient or Death of the Nile. I do want to see Murder on the Express, or name the title of the film is They're on a Train. Yeah, I do want to see that because I do like murder mysteries, kind of like Knives Out, Clue. That's a fun one. I do like those murder mystery types of movies and trying to find out who the killer is or who's the suspect, and you're looking for any bits of detail throughout the scenes to like figure out who it is, because there's certain things that happen in the movie that you're wondering, okay, well, this person wasn't here when this happened, so either must be him, must be her, like that type of guessing game. I do like those types of movies.
Whodunit. Yeah,
definitely a whodunit. And
if you're looking for something like more on like the fun side, like Knives Out or something, go with Death on the Nile. They're all like their own standalone story.
Death on the Nile has like a star-studded cast, man.
Yeah,
it really did.
And it went to streaming, right? But I think it was because of what was going on in the world. But
I think it was because of the 19,
And it's because of Armie Hammer. Like, he was in some hot stuff.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I don't know if he still is, but it was a whole kind of like a family thing, I think. But anyways, I think it was still in theaters for a bit, but it was like a simultaneous streaming thing. But it did well enough for them to greenlight another one.
Yeah, I know.
Haunting in Venice. So
when I first saw the trailer to Haunting in Venice, I didn't even put 2 and 2 together. Like this is a part of that.
Bro, me either.
The first time I saw it, and I was like, oh, cool. Like we get into like a haunting movie in Venice, and the way it was structured, and it was like the second time I saw the trailer, I was like, hold on, isn't that the character from, Man. and then I started doing research on it, and I was like, this movie is not being advertised like the other ones were.
It's Joe. It wasn't, and I had the exact same thing. And I one better here. I was on a live stream on Craven's channel, and it got brought up because we watched the trailer for it, and Mr. Brett James Bishop is the one who pointed out, oh yeah, it's a Hercule Poirot movie, and I'm like, what? Because I thought it was a horror movie, and I thought it was like a supernatural horror movie. And then I'm like, Agatha Christie ain't doing nothing supernatural. Like that's not her style,
right?
And then when he pointed out, it's like, yeah, there's Hercule Poirot, and I'm like, oh my god. And I'm gonna say honestly, I knew going in nothing supernatural going on at all.
Yeah,
because I'm like, this is an Agatha Christie book. I know the book.
Well, if you see the movie.
There wasn't. There was nothing going on.
Well, I'm just talking about like. Never mind. I'm not going to say it.
We'll talk about it backstage so we don't.
Spoil yeah. No spoilers for anything here.
There was an explanation for everything that was going on.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I mean, I really did like it. I guess I wanted more epic. Is that the right? I wanted more epicness with it. I felt like too claustrophobic. I felt like the camera angles and stuff, like I was like, all right, I feel like we're walking into a room, we're on a set, we're walking into a room, we're on a set, like that, like it was well made, but I guess I just wanted more. I don't know. Maybe I was in a funk. Maybe you ever go into a movie and you're just like, I can't connect. You're kind of looking at your watch. You're kind of like, all right, just tell me what the hell's going on and who the hell did it, and I'm ready to go.
Bro, like, you want to know what movie I felt that for?
What's that?
John Wick 4.
Really? That was the...
I don't know why. Because I love the John Wick movies. I absolutely love them. But when I was in the theater watching that, I don't know if I was like exhausted or what, but I'm like, I couldn't have been less interested for some reason. I've watched it again since then and I absolutely loved it. Blew my mind. But for some reason, that time in the theater, I was like, not into it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I get it. That I mean, it really does. Like one thing that I love about movies is it changes your mood. But there's sometimes you're just kind of like you're getting off work or you're just kind of like not having the greatest day, and you just can't you can't dig out of that hole. Like you're just kind of like, I can't connect with anything. I kind of want to check out and turn your brain off, or maybe you need to take a nap, so before you watch a movie. I don't really know. It might be just old age catching up to us, man. I don't know.
Dude, it could be, but I don't know. That's the one that it did. So if that's the case for Haunting in Venice, I highly suggest watch it again, see how you feel the second time. Because for me, like I said, John Wick, I definitely felt that way. John Wick, I was literally like, all right, we get it. Like, what's really going on here? How's it going to end? And then it ended, and I was like, okay, good. Rewatched it on my own at home. Absolutely loved it. So, I
bought it because I want to watch it, like on the OLED TV, because all the colors and all the Japanese theme stuff, like that stuff, I feel like it's gonna really pop. That was actually the first John Wick movie that I like the first movie, obviously, like most people do, but like 2 and 3, I was just kind of like, like I never could connect with them. But 4, like, I don't know if it was because I watched it on IMAX or what, and the crowd that I was with was really into it. But like, I actually took my kids to go see it too. They're all teenagers, and they were just like all into it. They were excited, and I was like, maybe their excitement, kind of like their energy was, kind of
contagious,
getting me hyped. Yeah. But I did like it. I was like, John Wick 4. was a pleasant surprise. I had a lot of fun with it. There's some ridiculousness in it, but that's in all of them. It's kind of
most ridiculous thing I think I've seen in a John Wick movie is when he slaps the horse so that it kicks the bad guy. I think it's in like John Wick 3. But like
I think it was the last one. Yeah.
He's walking around the horse, and when the bad guy gets like right behind the horse, he just slaps it and kicks him to death. Like I'm like, come on now, let's be a little bit more real.
Yeah, I like the melee stuff a lot. I like a lot.
His what does he refer to it as? Gun fu.
Yeah,
he definitely's got some good gun fu.
Yeah. Well, let me get to the comments because I don't want them to feel abandoned. I know they're probably like I thought we were talking about Saw tonight. We've been talking about all this other stuff, and everything is great. Like there's so many like good movies that have came out this year of all genres. So yeah, I hope they keep coming. There's a lot of like for the month of October. Like I'm kind of excited about that new Goosebumps that's coming out.
The series, man. I'm really
with Justin Long. That's like a good surprise. I hope it's good. I really do.
And
hope
it's on
good.
Disney Plus, right?
Yep.
Disney and Hulu, I think maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I think they got like a bundle thing going on. But yeah, like there's a lot. There's some good stuff coming out on streaming, and we just got No One Will Save You or whatever it is on Hulu.
I haven't seen it. I'm just about to watch it. I'm probably gonna watch it tomorrow.
Gotta watch it, dude.
I've heard good things. Like
I want to watch that on the big screen. Really,
dude. I might fire it up and watch it on my projector.
Yeah.
But I think Killjoy Jake said it's probably one of the best horror movies of the year.
Yeah, it's so well made. The ending will kind of, you'll be with it or not, but it's not something that will really like ruin your experience for the rest of the movie. It's just kind of like, a question mark. Like, why did y'all decide to do that? But yeah, it's good, man. It's and the cinematography, the acting. I mean, dude, it's so well made. So well made. Let me get to the chat. We got Mayan in the house. Hey guys, what is up, Mayan? Welcome to some Saw X. Sorry, we're about almost 30 minutes in and we're still talking and babbling. It just kind of time gets away from us, and we're definitely going to be jumping on some Saw X. We got Stu Mocker himself. What's Saw? I don't think I've ever heard of that. What? That's because a TV fell on your head before the movie came out.
Yeah, you haven't been around for the Billy the Puppet and the Rise. He's a modern slasher.
Yeah, it's the one. Saw was that movie that kind of like when slasher movies were kind of like starting to fade out. We had this whole like demonic and paranormal movies just like flooding us. Saw was that itch that you know like it scratched that itch that we had for slasher. It's not like a slasher like a traditional one, but it was slasher enough, and it kind of had like some cool elements to it. Had that twist reveal,
the whodunit,
the whodunit aspect. It was bloody. I mean, no, it's not slasher with a knife. It's slashing with other blades and stuff. You know, it's just a different way of people slashing themselves almost. So yeah, I always saw that like I think that was like Saw's biggest strength is the era that it came in. You know, like especially the first Saw movie was so great, especially with that ending.
Bro,
but like,
ending.
Let's say that Saw came out in the 80s or the 90s next to all these slasher movies. Do you think that it would have had that much of an impact, or do you think it's because it was the hardcore horror movie than all this other watered down paranormal stuff that was like more about creeping you out and imagery and all that kind of stuff? This movie was like in your face blood.
I don't think. Oh, go ahead, Dominic.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was gonna say. I think I would say in probably the 90s, closest, like, because obviously it came out 2000s and it worked, but I think if it was released around 93, 94, I think it would have been effective still. in my opinion.
You think
The
because
80s,
that gap between the 80s and Scream coming out?
yeah. So I can yeah, like that, and because in the 80s there's so many slasher films that came out that it's hard to keep up. So that could have fell within the whole rabbit hole of all slasher films that came out during that decade. I think when it came to the 90s, I feel like the slasher genre in the early to mid 90s was really not popping as much until Scream came out in the late 90s, which rejuvenated the slasher genre in
Mm-hmm.
horror in general. I think that if it was released around 93, 94, I think it would have a huge. I think it would have an impact to the audience when they go see it for sure, because it's different. You know, it's not like the traditional slasher that we're used to. It's more like along the lines of like thriller, like you said, who done it. There
Torture.
people are being killed
It's a little
by
torture.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
the what do they call it? Gornography.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Like,
yeah.
yeah. See, that's what I was. That's what I was thinking. I feel like I don't think it would have. I don't know if it would have worked because, like, I mean, maybe in the 80s it could have, but the 90s, like, there was like that era, like the early 90s where things were getting watered down. Like you would have to like the ratings were being more strict. Like, and just thinking about all the blood, I would say that that MPAA would have made this an NC-17 easy in the early 90s.
I don't.
What were you gonna say?
I honestly, I think Saw. I don't want to say it only works in the time that it came out, but I think the best. It was the best situation. It was kind of a converging of the stars that it came out when it did, because I think the music, the style, because like the torture stuff and stuff like that, that that genre. We had one or two movies in the past that would kind of explore that, but not in the same way. Like, we had Last House on the Left, we had I Spit on Your Grave. There's one or two others that you can think of in the decades before that kind of explored the torture side of horror movies. But they weren't like I argue to say they're not mainstream movies. Like when you think of Last House on
No,
the Left, you don't think of a huge theater draw. Same thing with
right.
I Spit on Your Grave. Same thing with like the darker
It's a
movies.
shocking thing. It's more of
Exactly.
a
It's kind of taboo, right?
yeah,
But then you get to the early 2000s and Saw is like making it mainstream. And I think if you tried to do that before, anytime before that, MPAA, like you said, I gotta agree there. Like they absolutely butchered some of the Friday the 13th movies and stuff like that. There were no way they would have let that get through on on a rated R. That would have been NC-17, which means they would have cut it to make it rated R. But then you lose some of the stuff that makes Saw so good.
yeah.
So yeah, it could have worked. I'm not gonna say it wouldn't have worked any other time. It could have worked some other time. However, I think the absolute best scenario was it coming out when it did, and kind of alongside Hostel and stuff.
I also thought that Hostel really is like I really thought that like Hostel and Saw were like going to be competing. Like I thought Hostel was going to be a bigger thing than it was. It was great.
It kind of
was good
fell
for
off
what.
though.
It just
It falls off real fast.
right. But another thing that I think that like with it coming out in the 2000s, and one of the biggest strengths is like we started getting to this era to where like horror movies like Final Destination were showing up for the deaths, and that's how we started doing with Saw. It was like we're showing up for the traps, and the studio knew that's what like the big focus was. So it was always like what is the most torturous way we could do this? What's gonna like get underneath people's skin? Which are two totally different movies, but I'm just saying that like you knew when you went to whenever you went to see Final Destination, you were like, oh man, how are these crazy deaths going to have deaths coming after them? How are they going to die? Same thing with Saw. It was just kind of like, I feel like there was just like people around the table just writing out like, okay, we got, let's put some stuff on the paper. What's some good traps or what's some good death scenes, and okay, write a movie around those traps.
You know, it's funny that you bring up Final Destination and Saw on the same thing because there's an actor that's in both series. I don't know if you remember. Okay.
Like in the first Final Destination?
Very first Final Destination. I think it's the very first one. I can tell you how he dies in the Final Destination movie.
All right, tell me.
It's in his bathroom. He's like,
yep, I know.
When he trips, the thing wraps around the thing. So it's him, and then he's also the guy, I think he's the one who's supposed to protect,
5 or 6.
Yeah, he's supposed to protect Jill Tuck.
Yep. You're right.
Yeah, same that actor. Obviously, he's significantly older, but yeah, he's in both of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Because I was thinking like, oh, what character did he play in Saw? It was in like the final chapter, right? Like he showed up at the final chapter. Where like
he was the internal affairs guy.
Yeah. Real quick, Stu, we'll get to you in just a second. Hey, Jamie, check your Instagram messages. I sent you a message earlier. If you want to hop on the panel, come on, because I know you're a big Saw fan. But if you want to just hang out in the chat, that's cool too. Just let me know. But I did send you a message earlier today. Stu is obviously not on the Saw franchise, so is there a way y'all could explain this? I'm gonna run to the kitchen real quick. I gotta get something, and y'all want to sum the Saw series up? Explain it to him in a way that can intrigue him to go start to the first one. You got to see the first one.
I think I could do it. Okay, if I had to explain Saw on a very basic level, it is a person or group of people who think that some others are not living in a way that fully appreciates the life and gifts they have been given. So this person or group of people puts them in scenarios where they have to fight to keep their life so that they will better appreciate it. And that branches out and makes a big, beautiful soap opera over 9 movies, about to be 10. There you go. If I was explaining it, that's how I would explain it.
Well, for me, it's about a group of people. I would say a cult or a following of some sort, where they have this belief in I was gonna say presuming life. I was gonna say appreciating life to the maximum, to the fullest, so you don't waste it. And actually, I can't say it because if you haven't seen all of them, especially the first one, I won't say it. But
it's easy to get into spoilers without meaning to.
Yeah, I was gonna say something spoilerish, and I stopped myself, and I was trying to put it in a way where it's not, spoilerish. So yeah, pretty much like there's this ideology, this belief that like these there's the victims, let's call them the victims, or the people that are put into the traps, like the people that are put into the traps are people that don't appreciate life, or has done something like a crime, or they there's this habit that they do that is unappreciative, and the group of people, they go after those types of people and they put them into the traps. It's a case. I don't know. I think I repeated what you said, Bearded.
It's just at a very basic level, that's what it is. It's a group of people. They don't if they feel that, and that's a thing, an aspect of it I think that really needs to be emphasized. It's that they feel don't appreciate their life, because I don't want them to sound like they're morally correct at all. Because if you actually pay attention to some of the stuff, to some of the things that, some of the reasons people were put in traps, you're like, you think that's deserving enough for them to be put into this situation?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
For instance, a victim of domestic violence, like that. If you pay one of the people who put in this trap is because they're a victim of the domestic violence and they don't speak up.
Yeah, but wasn't it turning it to where like some of the apprentices were doing it, and they're not doing it the way that John Kramer really
At that
was doing
point,
it.
John was still alive, though, right? John was still in control.
Yeah.
So either he's alive and he was not in control, or he's alive and he was in control and he didn't do anything to stop it. Either way, he's at fault.
Yeah.
And I said the name.
If you don't act, you're still at fault.
Well, if you don't know, well, then you're not in control. And he was all about control.
Right.
If you know and you don't act, well, then you're partially to blame. Yeah.
Yeah. What was like one of the? What were you gonna say, Dom? Sorry.
I was gonna say like John has this god complex when it comes to his character. He's more like a person who looks at himself as doing something that is good for the people that he puts the traps in because they don't appreciate life. Whereas, like, yeah, you can say some of them because they show some of them that appreciate life and they've been quote unquote cured. But there are people that live on and they have miserable lives after that because, they went through a traumatic experience. So my question to John's like, how would you know, like, if they're gonna actually be cured just by, trying to get themselves out of a trap that's very harming to them, or they die,
Here's the thing. This might be a spoiler here, so I gotta bring this up. It's gonna be a little bit of a spoiler. So if you haven't seen it, all of it, maybe take a break for a minute or two. Okay, I'm going for it now. It's the last spoiler warning. First of all, there's not many people who survive. There's just not. Right. And the overwhelming majority of the ones who do survive, what do they end up doing? They end up just working for Jigsaw.
Right.
8 survivors end up assisting in Jigsaw's stuff. So, okay, he's not trying to get people to survive to feel better, because outside of that, I can only think of 2 survivors.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's it. And the one that got me the most, man, the death that got me the most, and really sealed for me that Jigsaw there's no moral correctness to what he's doing. The wife of Bobby Dagan. Remember Bobby Dagan, the one who pretended he had survived to make money?
Yeah.
Well, his wife was put in the trap, the final room. She was chained by the neck. The wife did not know anything.
That's right.
She didn't know he was lying. She didn't know anything about it. All she knew is she found this broken man and she was in love with him. Yet she was still put in a brazen bull and boiled to death.
Right. Yeah, I noticed that like later on in some of the other films, I was kind of like, no, there should be a twist to where they're not going to get harmed, but the other person does, or something, because that doesn't make sense. That's going against what John wanted to do. But that's what Hoffman was doing, pretty much.
That's the thing, though. Like, on a basic principle,
there might be some spoilers for the Saw franchise in here.
Yeah, I was about to say we're going in.
We're going into 10.
Yeah, I was about to say. I feel like if we're here to talk about 10, you got to talk about the first 9. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing: on a basic principle, I can understand people saying that Jigsaw wasn't a killer. Like for the let's see. I'm trying to think of a good example, like the barbed wire guy. Remember one of the very first ones?
And the first one, yeah.
He would self-harmed, and he had to crawl through there to get the key. The only person he had to rely on to survive was himself. And in that instance, that's fine. Amanda had to kill someone to survive.
Right.
Like the guy who was in there with Amanda, who had the key hidden in his stomach.
Yeah.
He had no option to survive.
Right.
So that's a murder. Like there is no option for him to get out of this. There's no way he can save himself. So what do you do in there? And also, this is what gets me too. He doesn't just tell you later on. He doesn't just tell you what you have to do to survive. Like specifically in let's see which one was it where they start out as a group and they're going through and they slow, like in each room they lose someone. You know what I'm talking about?
I think that's what I was about to say. I think it's 5.
Okay. He was so vague, he gave them a puzzle instead of telling them what they needed to do to survive.
Mm-hmm.
What if they're not capable of thinking of to solving that puzzle? They're just gonna die. Like when you put something on an intellect versus like a capability, that's
right.
Completely different. You're not telling them what to do to survive. If you had told them, they would have survived. But giving them a riddle, no, man. Mm-hmm. Sorry, that's my rant about him being a murderer, because there's still people who say that John Kramer isn't a murderer.
I got something too, but Dom, I'm gonna let you go first. What you got to say, man?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think through Saw 4 to Saw 7, Hoffman did run the games, but he was still. It was not really his games; it was John's games.
Yeah, John picked everyone and set it up.
Yeah, so that's why the games are continuing, because yes, Hoffman's running them, but really it's John's games that he created before he died. So that's why you see the trap with all the 5 people that were supposed to live at the end of Saw 5, and then in Saw 6 you got the insurance guy, and then in Saw 7 you got the person that faked the surviving Jigsaw. So you got those people. That's all John's game. It's just that Hoffman's been running it to make sure he goes through. But it's weird because it's like, he's like what you call it? Like he's still like a bad guy, because there's certain parts in like those films where he does something that John wouldn't do. And like you said, Peter, like John is a murderer. Like there's no excusing that. But the way John sees himself, like he wants to be like someone who gives people a chance, where Hoffman doesn't give that.
He thinks he's healing people.
Yeah, he thinks he's healing people, and
changing the way they think.
Yeah, and Hoffman's not really about that. But still, yeah, I still agree with John Kramer being a murderer, because it's like putting a gun to someone's head and telling them, or no. It's I'm sorry, I messed up like the example. It's like it's like putting a gun to someone's head and telling them or forcing them to like eat a plate of pancakes or something. I don't know.
It's like cut off your arm or pull the trigger. Like those are the 2 options. And it's like that doesn't make you appreciate life more.
Yeah. So many people are so ungrateful to be alive, but not you, not today. How much blood would you shed to stay alive? I always remember that being in one of the trailers. But I want to piggyback off of this for a second, and I got some questions, and I'm gonna ask y'all and in the chat as well. But I don't think, since we're on this right now, I don't think that I think that's a good argument, actually. Like, is John Kramer a murderer?
Yes.
I think he is too. And a lot of times, like, I honestly think with that first Saw movie, they didn't know which direction they were really going to go. they didn't know that the studio was going to take over it, or they sold the rights, or whatever the hell it might have happened. It was just kind of like they were kind of like leaving a lot of questions. They had a really cool concept. They had this awesome ending. But if you remember correctly, John Kramer had a knife, and he did try to kill Detective, what's his name, Tap? Danny Glover's? Yeah. He cut his throat with that blade. Mm-hmm. He attempted to try to kill this guy. It just didn't happen.
And he also had booby traps set up because that's what killed Tap's partner.
Exactly.
Like, with a shotgun. So, like,
yeah,
like I said, on a basis level of like the games, on the very basic ones, yeah, like who was the guy, the junkie who Amanda was with, but he was like apparently the first test. All he had to do was push his face through the knives, like that.
Yeah,
100% not. I would say at that point, not a murder. You're giving the man an opportunity to survive. He will have to endure some pain, and he will be forever changed. But his survival is within in his own hands. At that point, I don't think you're a murderer. But when you put something out of someone else's ability, that put their survival out of their hands, then at that point, I think you're a murderer. Like, there's no way for them to control their survival. Yeah, you're a murderer.
Yeah, and some of this stuff, it's just kind of like the options that you have, just like the guy that you were talking about that had to climb out of that barbed wire and everything. Like, you can't anticipate if this guy is going to cut an artery or his throat or whatever, like, by accident, not
and
intentional.
It's on a timer. Like, I don't know if you remember that, but like he
had
to get through it quickly, or else the door shut and it would never open. So like he can't go through this methodically to ensure he doesn't nick a major artery. So yeah, man, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like they didn't really figure out, like the beginning was the groundwork, and they didn't really know which direction they wanted to go into. And I honestly, and this might be just biased because I'm a slasher fan, I kind of wanted them to go into like traps and slasher. Like, I kind of wanted the best of both worlds there. But then they started humanizing John more and more and more. I kind of got tired of it. I kind of got tired of the humanizing of John. Like, I like it as a backstory. This is why he did what he did. Cool. Like, I understand. This is what made this guy snap.
Okay, here's my question. What did make him snap? Because there's 3 reasons given in the movie. 3 different reasons.
Well, the baby thing.
The baby thing.
The
car crash. And all that, and the cancer.
Like, I think in Saw 2.
Damn, he's got the worst. What did he do? Like, did he get like
pissed
cursed
off
by
God,
a witch? Yeah,
he just pissed off God. Like,
dude, you're cheating death. Just die. That's wrong.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think he said that the real reason is that he tried to kill himself and he survived, and that's when he was like, I need to start making traps for people so they can appreciate life. But you're right.
Did we ever see that? I don't think we ever saw him attempt to kill himself on screen.
I think the car crash was him trying to kill himself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think the car crash was him trying to do it, and he pulled the piece of like rebar or metal or something out of his gut.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know, man. I love the movies, 100%. Like, I like to call them a big, beautiful horror soap opera, because that's what they are.
And they get sloppier the further they go. That's why I got high hopes for this one.
I don't really think they get sloppier, man. I think there's been one that I legitimately was like, that had some problems in it. And it's what makes me a little skeptical about Saw X. And that was Jigsaw, because Jigsaw, as we know, kind of retconned a lot of things, because it goes back to the very beginning there's someone Logan is helping John from the very beginning. So, and that's, the problem with that one. The only problem I have with it is some of the timeline issues, right? Well, with Saw X, as we know, it's middle. I mean, it's right between 1 and 2. So, I do like that Saw 6 already, I don't know if y'all remember this, but Saw 6 actually set up the storyline for Saw X.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Like, no, I thought about that too. It really does. I'm just kind of like, all right, I'm just going to put this out here. This isn't a spoiler because it could be considered one, but it's something to expect with Saw X. It's already out there. A lot of people's talked about it. Saw X will have an after credit scene. What that will be, I don't know. I don't want to know until Thursday night. Hey Dom, I think you got some like audio stuff coming through, man. All right, yeah, that's better. Yeah, it will have an after credit scene. And I'm wanting to know, okay, this trailer that we have for Saw X, y'all, it already has some certain twists in it. We know that Amanda's back. We get a voiceover from Hoffman. We know that bathroom is back. How is all that going to tie into this? We're going to have an after credit scene. Okay, if those are not your twists of the movie, what is? What is going to be the big thing that hooks us again? Because I feel like that's what this movie needs is a hook, like the first two movies.
And the problem with adding something like that in there is we already know what takes place in the next 7 movies or the next 8 movies.
Right.
So like it's going to be really hard to do that because what twist are you going to introduce that doesn't affect the next 8 movies?
Right.
That's still shocking to us because, like I said, at the end of Jigsaw, we find out we have a huge twist, but that goes all the way back to part 1. So, honestly, the twist might be we see him working with Logan. Like, because hey, he's the only.
But is it necessary? But is that enough to bring back Saw? Was Logan even a big enough surprise to where it was kind of like, oh, that was crazy, and oh, we need to see that backstory. I mean, it'd be a great little addition, but that doesn't need to be your big punch. That doesn't need to be your big twist.
I don't think it does either, man. But here's the thing, I do write, but I'm going to say I'm not a good enough writer to work on the Saw franchise at this point. But I can't think of anything they could do, anything they could introduce that would be big enough to be shocking, but not big enough to affect the next movies. And that's my biggest worry, man. They're going to try to do something, and it's going to end up like not making sense in the overall timeline.
Yeah. Tyrese Daniels is in the house. What's up, Tyrese? Adam Stanheight. I don't know if that's his last name, but Adam in Saw X 2023 movie. I'm assuming he's meaning Lee Winnell's character, Daniel. Adam. Adam.
I don't remember what Adam's. I don't think we ever got Adam's last name, do we?
I'm not quite sure.
I'm gonna look it up here.
But that is one of my questions for tonight. So since he did bring it up, I do want to bring this up. Do y'all think there's a chance we either get a flashback of Adam, or he might still be alive all this time? What do you think?
I would say like they might have done it, but in this film Saw X, I think maybe Adam is still alive, and how is that? I think they switched bodies. I think what happens Adam switched clothes with another body, so he put another body in there and making it think it's Adam. That's the only explanation for me, at least, that in my mind makes sense that Adam is still alive. But
didn't we see Don't we see Amanda suffocate Adam with a bag?
Yes, we do, but we never saw Adam die. It cuts away. It shows her do it, and then it just kind of like the struggle's going on, but then it cuts away. So she could have quit. She could have like stopped, or he could have gotten out by elbowing her or whatever.
Isn't that whole thing part of a montage where Jigsaw is chastising her for killing people?
Yeah, and that might have been her attempt, but he could have gotten away, or she could have stopped.
I hope they don't do that, man. That will, because that's undoing that's undoing something that was done in a previous movie that I think worked. Like, he's chastising her for killing people. That doesn't work unless she killed people. And
well, that's one thing. I think we're going to be focusing on Amanda's character a lot more than we think we are. In this one.
I don't know, man. I hope they don't bring Adam back. We saw him being killed, and it does not. We saw his. I think we even saw his corpse, or we saw his skeleton.
Yeah, we did. But here's my explanation for that. In Saw 2, remember the what's his name? That was chasing Daniel and Amanda down there. What was it? The big buff dude that was the asshole of the movie.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember his name, but
yeah. It's on the tip of my tongue. I just can't think of it. But his body's down there. I've never seen his body moved or what happened to it. He died in that room as well. What if, like bodies decay over time, especially, like in an open air like that. So who's to say that the body wasn't swapped out with his body and just, at that point, like his body, I mean, yeah, he is a buffer dude, but what if he's decayed to the point to where he could wear Adam's clothes and they swapped it out like that? Like, it is a stretch, but it is a possibility, and we're talking about Saw here. That is, a lot of this shit's a stretch. So,
man, I don't know. Like, I don't think there's a good enough reason. There's not a good enough reason in the story for that to happen.
What about if Gordon came back and saved Adam during the Amanda and Adam struggle? Because he did say he was coming back.
Yeah, but we already saw what happened with Gordon after that. We see Jigsaw find him and take him. Why would you?
But what if he did come back and Adam has been underneath Gordon's wing this entire time?
That it couldn't have happened. Like, Gordon was with Jigsaw. Like, because it wasn't just like he was there for a day and then Jigsaw let him go. Like, he was bedridden because they just cut his foot off. Jigsaw even fits him with a prosthetic foot. Jigsaw is not going to let Gordon, hey, you won the game. The other guy didn't.
Xavier,
but you could go let him.
Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah. Jigsaw's not going to just let Adam go or let Gordon go completely. Like, and plus we see Amanda attack Adam. Like, how would that have happened? Like, if Gordon went back to get her. Like, it doesn't make any sense for Adam to be alive, in my opinion. It undoes some big parts of the movie.
It is a stretch. But there's a part in that trailer that if you slow it down, it looks like somebody's crawling out of that bathtub with the flash of a camera. Oh, we lost Dom.
Oh no.
Hopefully he'll be back. So yeah, that's one thing. Like if you slow down, I did a trailer breakdown on the movie. There's it looks like somebody is slowly crawling out of that bathtub with the camera flash. And like Marcus, my buddy over at I Shot Him 6 Times, he even spoke about it all the time. Like, who's been taking all these pictures? I never even put that together. Like, who's been taking all these pictures all these years throughout all the movies?
What do you mean taking the pictures?
There was always pictures being presented of showing oh, you did this, here's the evidence, I got you on this, and all that kind of stuff.
Anyone can operate a camera.
I know, man. But if you could make it make sense, I would love Adam to be back, man. He's one of the best characters of the entire franchise.
according to the Saw film wiki, Adam's last name is Stanheight. His status is deceased. Cause of death: asphyxiated with a plastic bag by Amanda Young. So, yeah, in my opinion, it doesn't make sense for him to come back. If he comes back,
It'll be a flashback.
It'll be a flashback, or it will mess up the timeline, like, because he's already dead. Yeah.
Here's one thing to consider. Saw X marks the spot was kind of like the whole thing with like 1 and 2. Like there was always like an X on something, you know, especially 1. Like you had to turn off the lights and there was an X on something. Will they play with that? Maybe. Or is there more that meets the eye out there? I really think, even though this is set between 1 and 2, I still think we're going to get a time jump either at the beginning, the end, or the after credits scene of a present day of what's going on now. And I think, honestly, Amanda's been alive this entire time. Even though she was shot in the neck, it was kind of like people survived from that before. But like, I know they're not like de-aging John Kramer, Tobin Bell's character, but like Amanda's character, like it's extremely noticeable you don't look the same as you were in 1 and 2. And I wonder if they try to play on that, like Amanda's, like those images we see of her in the trailer, or some of these images that's been leaked online or like thrown online, I mean. What if those are actually present day Amanda? You don't like that?
Not okay, and here's why. Why is Amanda dead?
Because a gun went off.
Because
and shot her
Mark
in the neck.
Hoffman was blackmailing her. Mark Hoffman was completely in control of everything that went down in that room where she was killed. He was supposed to be the only survivor to walk out. He already messed up once and let oh god, I forget the detective's name.
Detective Matthews?
Strom?
Yeah, Strom. He already messed up and left a pin in Strom's pocket, and we figured out Strom was just an absolute, beast and traked himself. He's not letting Amanda Young. He's not letting Amanda Young walk out. He would have made sure everyone else was in there, was dead, because if you remember, that's not where the game ended.
Yeah,
like, there was immediate follow up to that. And the cops already went in and looked. So oh yeah, we're gonna see some eyeballs sucked out of a skull.
Yeah. I'm so excited. Like I wasn't excited because it kind of like we said earlier, like it kind of snuck up on me, and I'm sure it did with you guys too. But now that I'm like 2 days away from seeing the movie, I'm like so excited to see it. I'm just kind of like, wow. I like, if this would have got more marketing, I think that this would have been probably my most anticipated horror movie of the year. Not to knock out Scream 6. I'm talking about like later on in the year, like the upcoming stuff. So
man, I hope this does better than Scream 6 did for me.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's like I'm excited, but I'm also like going in with a little bit of low expectations. I'm going in thinking that it's just another Saw movie. Like I want to go in there and be like, oh, that was some gruesome kills. I hope we get a little bit extra spice, like something surprising. I just feel like it needs that. And honestly, I think that Saw X is going to... This is the movie that it's going back between 1 and 2 for a reason. I think we're going to be...
That reason is so they can bring back Tobin Bell. That's the only reason.
Yeah. I mean, that's the selling point. But I think this is going to be pivoting into another timeline. Like maybe some other traps were going on over here next to this franchise. Like maybe this is where it's like let's just say Amanda. Let's just say Amanda. This is where she goes off this way, and even though that we think she dies in 3, or she does, whatever
That's
they
what I say.
decide to do.
She does die in 3. Let's just, man, she dies in 3.
Maybe it's up for debate. Everybody comes back, man. If Stumacher can come back, Amanda can come back.
Bro, yeah, everyone did come back in Saw already. We had John Kramer return as a callback, like a recall. Here's my problem. A couple problems with Saw X so far. First of all, I think the trailer told us way too much. We already know the overall story.
Yeah.
Of like, we already know why these people are in the traps. Like, and another thing, it's not because they didn't appreciate life. It's because John wants revenge. Like, that's first of all, go back there. So I think the trailer told us too much. Like, we already know from 6.
That's what I'm.
Yeah, from 6 we know he wanted to get this experimental procedure to help get rid of the thing. Now, so 6 happened. That part in 6 happened before this because he couldn't get his insurance to cover it, so he's paying out of pocket. We know they're not actually going to do the surgery on him. They're just going to lie and take his money.
Right.
And we know he's going to go.
They do tell you a lot. But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's got to be something else here. What else could it be? What could be the big twist?
See, that's my problem. Like, and I've already said it several times. It's got to be big enough to be better than the story, but not big enough that it's gonna mess up other stuff. Because some of the major things don't happen till after that, so you can't have it be them. Like, you can't. Please, God, don't make it a twist that there's been someone else working with him all along, because he's already got 8 people.
I would not be surprised. Not be surprised that somebody from the beginning has been working with them. Not just Amanda, but somebody else.
Yeah,
Adam.
Logan was the very first one. Bro, if they do Adam, it's going to be... I'm
an Adam fan, man.
Oh, I loved his character. His character was great. But I think his character served its purpose.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, you got 8 survivors. I can only think of three survivors that aren't working with Jigsaw. That's the girl who cut her arm off in the weighing contest, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the 2 people from Saw 5 who cut their arm off. They both survived. Other than that, every other survivor that I know of, actual survivor that we've seen in the trap, helps Jigsaw. Dr. Gordon, Logan, Amanda, Hoffman. There's the 2 guys who survived the opening with the girl in the middle.
Yeah.
Those 2, and then who's the other one? There's one more, isn't there?
Isn't what the girl with the fans below her? Remember, like in Saw 7, she was talking about how she survived Jigsaw.
Yeah. So that's 4. That's 4 who survived. Mm-hmm. But I'm thinking of the ones who survived and helped Jigsaw now.
Yeah.
Am I missing someone? Who were all his apprentices?
Is it Jill? Is Jill?
No, she was never in a trap. I'm talking about people who survive his traps that go on to help him. Okay, Logan, Gordon, Hoffman, Amanda, the 2 guys from the opening.
But they still did not reveal in Saw the Final Chapter. There's 2 people that beat down. What was it, Hoffman?
Yeah, that's supposed to be the 2 guys.
I don't think so.
That's supposed to be the 2 guys who's they're with Gordon. Gordon's there, yeah.
I think
Are you
there's
saying
somebody
that
else.
the guys from the beginning of Saw 7 are the guys in the pig masks that beat down Hoffman?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what it's interpreted as. Yeah.
that's the I mean, the theory. Yeah, you're right. We don't know who they are, but yeah, I'm going with the popular theory that it is those two guys because that would make sense to me. Like, who else is it gonna be?
Yeah, it would be great if they would have pulled the mask off and kind of like shown us, but they probably couldn't get those actors for another extra day or something. That's probably what happened with that situation. Um, but yeah, do you think? Well, hold on, I got somebody put something here. Let me find it. Oh yeah, Mayan puts in here. Did you guys get the Saw popcorn bucket? I did see that. I think it's with Cinemark. Cinemark is doing the same thing they did with Scream. They do have some really cool popcorn buckets. I have not. I will if I go to Cinemark, I probably will get it, or if I can order it online, I will. That's kind of like what I had to do with. It's back there, but like the Scream bucket somewhere. But yeah, have y'all seen that?
No.
I have seen it. Killjoy Jake got one. He posted a photo of it. They look pretty cool. I haven't had any desire to go get one. But just really quick, that the rumor, I guess it is, that of who it is that beat up Hoffman, it actually comes from director and producer commentary on the movie. That's who the director and producers say is under the mask, beating up Hoffman.
Yeah,
So,
but that could be changed.
oh,
It's not on screen. It doesn't. Yeah.
100% true. But it wasn't just thought up out of nowhere. It's Brad and Ryan are their names from the opening, but that's apparently where it.
Yeah.
There is a poster for Saw 7 that it's like a John Kramer statue, and there's people building it it's kind of like a symbolism for like the legacy of John and Jigsaw. I think that's what it's supposed to be like at the end of that movie. It's like there's Dr. Gordon and there's two guys who survived and now they're apprentices, and then they'll continue on and get more apprentices.
Stu, that's a hard question to answer. There's a lot. Which part? That's the question with that.
Yeah, Jamie. Yeah, that's who I think it is too. I think it's them, the ones from the cheater trap. However, I think what Destin's saying is that we never see them in that scene take their masks off.
Right. And normally they do something like that.
I don't remember them taking their masks off, so we can't say for 100% certain that actually was them under the mask. I believe it was, just because I believe that was supposed to be kind of an inconsequential thing. We know who's pulling strings at that point, because the note was passed off to Gordon, so now Gordon was running the show. At least as far as making sure that Jill was like some sort of, avenging was taken care of for Jill's murder.
Yeah. And also, I think like usually like in every Saw opening, when it comes to the victims and the traps that survive, they end up becoming important characters later on. Like for example, in Saw 4, the person in the opening is John's partner for like his like construction and stuff.
Oh yeah, his business partner who he was also the lawyer, right?
Yeah, he was also a lawyer, and he was the opening trap, and he survived. And then later on, he became an important part where he's part of a game that Jigsaw set up. And there's other examples too. So I wouldn't be surprised if those two people in the mask were the guys from the opening of Saw 7.
I mean, I always thought that too. I'm just thinking of like areas in the franchise that they could retcon, or try to pivot from, and being like, All right, well, yeah. I think that this movie, Saw X, will be a goodbye love letter to Saw for John Kramer's character. I think this is the final time we're going to see Tobin Bell play this character. I think it's going to be a little touching. I think that's why he's like the forefront. It's kind of be like a send off, you know? But I don't think Saw is over. And I guess that leads into one of my other questions. Do you think, and we've kind of talked about it a little bit, but not really, but I want to dig a little deeper here. Do y'all think that we're going to acknowledge or even be in the same universe still as Spiral? Do you think they're even going to talk about it? Even though that this is a prequel, do you think that there's any possibility that they might have some sort of tie-in or acknowledgement to Spiral and that story?
I would say yes, mainly because of the fact, like, the killer in Spiral, his father was gunned down by the police officer, right? And that I'm assuming that took place like around Saw 2 or Saw 1. You know, it could have took place around that time. So maybe they do somehow like make a little mention or nod to Spiral, like a newspaper clipping. Oh, police officer guns down armed suspect in an apartment building or something like that. Like a little nod or, you know, Easter egg to Spiral. You know, letting people know it's in the same universe. It's just that they're two separate, like, stories. You know, because that's the way I saw Spiral. I saw Spiral as like a story in the Saw universe. You know, that's separate from John Kramer. Even though it is like it's not completely tied to John Kramer, but in a way it is in a way because the killer's inspired by Jigsaw. But that's about it. You know. So I do think it's going to be nodded at in Saw X for sure.
Okay. Eric?
Well, I mean, it's 100% acknowledged because Saw X is only Saw X if you count Spiral. Like, it's only Saw 10 if you count Spiral as Saw 9. So...
Very good point. I was wondering if anybody was going to catch that.
Yeah, like it's automatically acknowledged by the fact that this is Saw X. Other than that, honestly, I don't think they will because all the stuff that happened, from what I understand, in Spiral, were post John Kramer because that was if I'm not mistaken, right? Like the whole point was the police were getting out of hand, enforcing things, and then. But I thought that was it. I could be wrong. I could be mistaking my timeline, but I thought that was in a reaction to John Kramer, because the whole thing was. Chris Rock's dad, Samuel L. Jackson, was the one who apparently didn't he have something to do with the John?
He
Kramer
covered
case?
it up, I think, from what I remember.
I don't think he covered it up, but he had something to do with the John Kramer case. I think there was something about Samuel L. Jackson's character.
Well, he was the one that was running the whole thing that covered up the police officer that did kill the kid's father. If I remember correctly. I'd have to rewatch that too. I think I've only seen that movie once or twice.
Yeah, so it's...
What year did that come out? That feels like it was was it pre-COVID?
I think it was 2021.
Okay.
But
yeah,
I'm telling you, after 2020, everything's been a blur. What's up, Dom?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah, it was like the people that were getting killed from the police department were involved in the murder of the kid's father. And so that's why, like, there are certain people in the department that were getting killed because they covered it up, and they're also crooked. So that's why they also got killed. And this is another example of the traps not being escapable because of the fact that the killer is actually wanting him to die instead of giving them a chance to redeem, or
Right.
like what John does. Like he wants them to like rehabilitate themselves, or whatever John's like God complex, type of thinking that he portrayed in the films he was in. This killer doesn't have that. He's straight up wanting to kill them, so that's what he did. Like he puts
Are
them
you
in
talking
traps.
about Spiral? Because Spiral had every trap aside from Samuel L. Jackson could be survived. Right? The first dude, all he had to do was jump. His tongue would have been ripped out, but he would have survived. The detective, not the detective, the captain, all she had to do was essentially paralyze herself, slam herself down, paralyze herself, and that would have saved her. The other dude would have had his fingers ripped off, and he would have survived.
I thought that was kind of odd.
Yeah, it was weird, but he could have survived that one. And Samuel L. Jackson was the only one who couldn't have survived because he didn't have the option to survive. I mean, we saw how that ended. I thought that was so good too.
Yeah, dude. Like I did like that ending, and I was like waiting. I was like, oh, what if John Kramer was still alive all this time? And like when dude gets on the elevator and John Kramer's like there and like takes him down with them, like or something. I don't know. Like I know I asked for too much, but this is just me. Like I'm like I just need that extra cherry on top to just like.
Bro,
I think that they shot themselves in the foot with also killing John Kramer in the third movie.
Yeah, I think, man, I'm right there with you. I think it needs something. That's just my worry is that I would rather them do something safe that flows and doesn't mess up the timeline than to go crazy and give an outrageous movie that messes things up. Like, so I don't know, man. And you know what? It could be part what Dominic said about the about a tie-in to Spiral. What if, because here's the thing, the events of Spiral take place after John Kramer. However, the flashbacks of the kid's
when he's
dad
a kid,
being killed, those happen before. So
right.
like a big twist could be freaking Samuel
so his
Jackson.
inspiration started at a young age.
Maybe I don't think Jigsaw was working when that happened.
Okay, I'm glad you brought this up. Do y'all remember an image that popped up before we even got a trailer, like early on, like the first image we ever got online of Saw X?
I don't think
done?
so. No, I don't think so. Can say that again? I think I missed.
Yeah. Do y'all remember like whenever we got the news that like they're gonna do another Saw movie, Saw X. It's gonna be focused around John, but then we got like that first. A lot of times they'll do like, oh, here's the first image of this movie that's being shot, but we haven't got a trailer yet. It was like months before we got a trailer. Do y'all remember what that image was?
I thought it was the poster. I thought it was the eye vacuum.
What about you, Dom?
I think it was. Man, I think I saw it. The image. It was with the I Love Saw. Is that the one?
No, that's a newer one. That's a newer one.
No, I don't.
That's a newer one. Yeah, that's a poster. Okay, I'm gonna put this up right here. And this is what I'm thinking. This image could be part of the after credit scene. This could be something that's tied in with Spiral. That's my first takeaway. Like, just looking at it, I'm like, what the hell is going on in this scene, and why is it shot this way? And here, I'm just gonna throw it up here. But we could be looking at, Detective, what's his name from Spiral?
Zeke.
No, Zeke was Zep. Oh, you're thinking of Zep?
No, Zeke was Chris Rock's character. It was Ezekiel.
No, his partner.
Oh, Max. I know the. Hold on.
Maxim.
Shank.
Yeah,
Shank.
something like that. And you know what? Whenever, I was always wondering, like, I was like, are they going to take the after credit scene approach with this movie? And now, like, recently, like in the past week or two, it's been coming out that yes, it is going to have an after credit scene. Now, this might not be the after credit scene, but this kind of tells me after credit scene all over it. And I could see this being like a really good send off, like maybe if the camera's like panning away after this moment. But what if we're looking right here? John Kramer is drawing, writing, or whatever. He could be like starting his whole sitting here, thinking about the traps, thinking about the setups, all that kind of stuff. This is what triggers it a little bit. But why is he having this conversation with this kid? Could this be a young detective Shank, whatever?
I don't know, man. I'm trying to remember because they show him as a kid in Spiral.
Yes,
and I think he's
he's around this age.
Yeah, but here's the thing. That's back in like, I want to say like the 90s or the 80s when he's that age.
Well, this is a young kid. I mean, I could just see them like doing something like he says his name. It kind of gives us like a reference to Spiral. I just don't understand what's going on, and why was this the first image they leaked online, or not leaked, but like released online before the trailer? Like this was not in the trailer. This scene is not in the trailer. So this has got to be somewhere. Like I could just see like John like sitting peacefully at a park or something. This kid kicks a ball or whatever up to him. They have a little conversation. I mean, I really don't know how the conversation would engage, like start off here. But it could be something about my dad was gunned down, blah, 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 blah. And it might be just a way to acknowledge Spiral in a way. Like if they're trying to hit all the bases.
I don't know, man. Because like, so if when was Spiral? Is Spiral supposed to be set modern day, right?
I think it was set earlier. I want to say that when Spiral came out, it wasn't present day, was it? Was it, Dom? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I thought it was present day.
Yeah, it is. It is present day. It's a few years after the modern day Jigsaw, because Spiral takes place after that, so it's modern day. All right, and Shank is 27 in modern day, and his maybe what year does Jigsaw die?
Oh shit, I don't know. I couldn't tell you that. Dom? We're all Googling over here.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I was gonna say, I think it was like 2006, 2005.
Yeah, I think it's 2006. If we go by movie release, and Shank. Okay, so 27 is how old Shank is in, let's say, 2001. Or not 2021. And so he's 27 at that point. His father was killed 15 years earlier. So he would have been 12. But Jigsaw hadn't started his Jigsaw doesn't even start his killing spree until 2001, 2004.
When did the first Saw movie come out? Saw October 29th, 2004.
Hold on a second.
So 2004.
Let me hold on a second. There's one math problem I got to do here. 2006.
So I just want to mention.
Whoa, hold on a second. That timeline does add up. Hold on a second. Okay, so here's the thing. John Kramer dies 2006, right? Is that the standard we're going with based on the movie?
2004 and then like 2005. Yeah. I mean, that would be Saw 3.
Okay, so 2006, let's say that's when John Kramer dies. In 2021, William Shank is 27. His father is gunned down 15 years before that, which would make him 12. And he was 12 in 2006. So the flashback scene of Spiral take place the same year John Kramer dies. So a 12-year-old William Shank would have been around for all of Hoffman's stuff.
Yeah.
And he would have been alive for let's say roughly a year of overlap before John died.
Yeah. And we don't know where. Let's just say, for instance, that this is the after credit scene. If that's the way they go with it, it could be the middle of the damn movie. It could be the opening of the movie. We don't know, but we don't know how. After the events of what happens in this movie, let's just say this is the after credit scene. We don't know how far along from the ending of the movie to this after credit scene it could be taking place. It doesn't have to be to the exact. There could be a little bit of gray area there.
Well, here's the thing, too. The post-credit scene, because let's not forget here. Is my computer frozen or is the Saw picture still up?
No, it's still up, dude.
Okay, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, we've been talking here, going around in circles, but it's still up. I was like, anyways, the Shank does not die.
No, he doesn't.
He walks away scot-free.
Exactly.
The post-credit scene of Saw X could be a teaser for Spiral 2.
That would be cool.
That could be what's going to happen. If I had to make a bet, that's the only thing I could see happening. Is that the post-credit scene from Saw X is a teaser for Spiral 2 because he walks away scot-free.
Yep.
And then he could be setting up a whole bunch of games because he wanted to do more. He wanted to go out and find other, take down more corrupt cops, take down the whole establishment. So
yeah, and we really don't even see Chris Rock die.
You don't know. He would be. I don't know how it would happen. Chris Rock.
They would probably kill him off screen because I think he was a creator on the thing. So I think he helped write it, didn't he?
Oh yeah, I think he pitched the initial idea.
Yeah,
and everything. So that could be one of the twists too. Is that Chris? Because here's the thing. That the peak of that time was, and I was right about the timeline. The response, the article, I think they called it Article 8 or something like that, was a response to the high crime, and it basically gave the police officers kind of like martial law, like they could do anything they wanted. Samuel L. Jackson was running that during the time that Jigsaw was doing all of this.
Yeah.
So part of the twist might be seeing Samuel L. Jackson pop up, because he would have been alive and running the police department while Jigsaw was doing this.
Couldn't you see him like interact with like Detective Matthews or somebody like that? Like he's just like on the other end of like the walk-in, like, all right, storm the place or something like that. Like in Saw 2, whenever they go up and, I mean, like there's so many different ways that they could do it, but I just found that image to be kind of like random, out of place, and forgotten. Because that was the first image we got of Saw X, and nobody's talking about it. And it's nowhere in the trailers.
And I honestly, you know what sticks out to me the most about that is how close to death Jigsaw looks.
Yeah, he does look frail. He looks very... He looks very scrawny, I guess the word. Like, he's... And that's when... Okay, I'm glad you brought up that topic. And Dom, feel free to chime in here at any time, man.
Yeah, you gotta speak up, because I'll just keep talking, man.
Yeah. Me and Eric, we'll shoot. 6 a.m. We'll be here in 15 minutes. So here's the thing. It's like, I find it rather odd that they didn't take the approach of de-aging some of these characters. John Kramer and Amanda especially.
Bro, Amanda there's some photos where she looks rough.
She looks rough as fuck.
Like,
all right,
and the hair, I get what the hairstyle it's supposed to be imitating.
It looks like a wig.
Bro, it does not look good. And I love Shawnee Smith. She's a beautiful woman, but they did not do her. They did her dirty.
And I'm afraid it's going to be a meme or something, man. Like, it's going to...
It's already a meme, dude. If you go to
it's
Reddit,
going to be a joke.
You look at the Saw subreddit, it's already jokes out there, man.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, the only way I could see this, like, Amanda's character working is, like, the reason why she looks rough is because she is aged. Because most of these images of her are present day. Like, she's still alive this entire time. But it might not be what we get. I mean, that's where I was going with it earlier.
You know what? If they are present day photos and she's still alive, I commend her on keeping the exact same hairstyle for a decade. Because
that's true. That's a good point.
Man, I'm not seeing it. I think they probably just didn't, because honestly, de-aging very seldom works that well. Like, unless you got like a freaking Irishman Martin Scorsese budget where they can spend, millions on it.
And even that had some issues.
Oh yeah, it did. But if you're trying to do it on a low budget, which, let's be honest, Saw isn't getting the biggest budget out there.
No,
it's gonna come out looking hokey. So I'd rather just suspension of disbelief and add it in there. Use some practical makeup, and we'll get what we get. I'm okay with that.
I mean, even like TikTok though, man, you can do like filters, like, and clean yourself up.
Going like the truth or dare route, where they just use the filter. Oh, here's the thing. This is what I'll say about it. If I walk out,
AI Jigsaw.
If I walk out of the theater from Saw 10, and my biggest complaint is that they didn't actually look like they was, look like the ages they were, then it's a great movie. If that's the only complaint I got, or the biggest complaint I got, then it's a great movie.
Yeah. I mean, as long as the movie's good, like, there are going to be things that's probably going to take us out. We're going to be like, yeah, this isn't set between Saw 1 and 2. This doesn't look right. You kind of got to go in there with that. Like, you got to know what to expect. Because, I mean, like, what was that? 2000, what did we say earlier? 2004? 2003?
4 was the first one.
So we're talking about like 2005 era. 2004, 2005 area is when this is taking place.
It would, I was about to say it'd be late 04 early 05 because
We don't look
4
like
was
we
the first
did.
one. 2004 for number 1, 2005 for number
2.
2006 for number 3. Man, there was a point there. There was a couple years in a row where they were coming out like every Halloween.
Oh yeah, for like 6 years straight.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way it was.
So I'm okay with him not de-aging her. I will say honestly though, and here's the thing though, a lot of times in previews, it's not the final look. So I'm okay with them taking their. I'm okay with the way it looks if that is how it turns out, but I think it honestly might turn out a little bit better in the movie. So I'm okay with them not de-aging her.
What do you think, Dom?
Yeah, I don't really care about that, honestly. Like, it is what it is. You know,
We can barely hear you, buddy. I can barely hear you for sure.
Yeah, I can barely hear as well.
Oh, they can't hear. Can't hear me.
I can hear you, but there's a lot of like other audio coming in, like some
Yeah, a lot of
static
buzzing
or-
sound.
You got a fan on, or are you near like a?
A microwave.
That's what I was going to say. A microwave. You making some ramen noodles at midnight, man?
Bro, I might be making some ramen at midnight. I do
Dude,
like
that's
some
what I'm
ramen.
saying, dude. Like night ramen is the best, bro. It slaps. Is that what the kids say these days?
Dude, I have the worst midnight meal. You know what I like at midnight?
What's
There's
that?
those terrible frozen pot pies. The little frozen
Oh,
ones.
dude, I could never. My dad loved those. I've never ate those. I think I maybe ate them when I was real young, but I just never. Yeah,
Oh,
dude, that's
yeah,
better.
yeah, it's much better. But yeah, that's I love those. I have those. Like, I say midnight meal, but I work nights, so like my lunch actually takes place at like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
So that's about when it's about when I'll have my lunch. But I love those things. They're just so easy, so convenient.
Yeah. Yeah, the same, man. Like, I'm all about convenient meals. Like, one thing that I like to do, like, I buy like those rotisserie chickens from like either Walmart or Costco or Kroger or something. Dude, that makes so many different meals. Like, you can make like a sandwich with those things. You could
Chicken
just
pot
eat them.
pie.
You can make a chicken pot pie with them. You can
Bro.
make chicken and dumplings. I mean, I don't know.
Chicken definitely. Another great one, buffalo chicken dip.
Oh yes, yeah,
I make a
man.
mean buffalo chicken dip.
I haven't made one, but like I do make a lot of dips. But I usually do like sausage and or chili ground beef mixed with like rotel and jalapenos and chilies and all that kind of stuff. And then I'll put that. I'll put it in like one of those like tins, and then I'll put that on my grill and smoke it for like a couple hours and get like a smoky cheese dip. Oh, dude.
Bro, now I'm getting hungry.
You guys know?
I'm trying to get some images of how Amanda looks in this new one. Yeah, there's going to be a big leap. There's definitely going to be a big leap.
You're gonna have to suspend your disbelief. That's for sure.
Yeah. What do you think,
Dude.
Dom? Do you think that we're going to get any chance of present day Amanda, or you think this is all between Saw 1 and Saw 2, like it's taking place?
Well, there has to be like a scene where it takes place in modern day.
I think so
believe.
too, to make it live, to make Saw live.
Yeah, because I believe the rest of the film is just taking place in between Saw 1 and 2, and then like it's maybe the ending is like taking place in modern day or something like that, because it has to tie back to Spiral or something.
Yeah, something like, even if it's like a young detective, like this is his inspiration of what like started him, like he started looking up to John at this moment, or even if we got like the character back from Spiral, and we pick up from there for a minute. You know, maybe we see the aftermath of what happens whenever he goes down that elevator at the end of Spiral. But yeah, like here's another image of they could keep Amanda like that, like covering her hair, and just kind of like staying in the costume a lot more. Like, what does this look like? Does this look like a hospital to y'all? Hospital halls?
A hospital or a school?
Kind of a school, yeah.
Yeah, because like, wasn't there one in? Yeah, there was one of them that was dealt with the school. Because Tap, I think it was he had a hot head, and there was the one guy who was abusing his daughter. Remember?
Danny Glover's character?
Is that Tap? No, the
Riggs.
Riggs. Yeah, Riggs.
Yeah.
And remember, because they set up the trap in there where there was the husband and
Oh
wife
yeah,
together. Yeah, so
Yep.
that was in a school, so that would kind of line up, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah. They could definitely do that. Here's another image. I'm gonna try to bring this one over. Okay, so this is gonna be leading into my next question as I get this picture. I should have had all of this. Like, I had some stuff, but like I'm finding more stuff that I'm kind of like, oh, that's something to play with there. So you kind of like, even though we were talking about Riggs, like Detective Tap, we're talking about Danny Glover. What do you think the chances are of bringing his character back, even though he got shot? It was a one shot, but is he? I mean, yeah, we get that memorial, we get the whole picture and everything, but swapping out bodies, you could fake your death, all that kind of stuff. Do you think there's any way we could be getting Danny Glover back in this?
I'm gonna be honest, man. I don't even remember his death scene.
It was he was struggling with the gun, and they were like against the wall, and it was like he was kind of like, was it Zep that he was wrestling with, or maybe it was Jigsaw? I can't remember. And he was kind of, and it like it was Zep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it shot
Zep
him.
had the girls. Zep had had Gordon's wife and daughter.
Right. Yeah, and he got.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna,
go ahead, Dom.
oh, sorry. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, because in the movie you find out that he had his own game. That's why he was kidnapping the daughter and the wife, because he was part of a game that John Kramer was running, and that's when we find out John Kramer's the actual Jigsaw, and then the rest is history.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, okay, yeah, his death kind of just came at it kind of just seemed like a throwaway.
Rush. Yeah, it was like a rush thing. That's why I'm kind of like, could they retcon that a little bit, and that could be a big twist, is that Danny Glover is back some way, somehow.
I don't know, man. The more we talk about it, the more that I think the big twist being it ties into Spiral. By the way, Jamie, I love Wegmans. I lived in when I was stationed in Maryland. There was a Wegmans, and their food buffet or whatever. I love that place. Go in there for lunch, give them some of the firecracker shrimp. It's amazing. Anyways, yeah, the more we talk about it, the more I think the only thing that would make sense would be tying it into Spiral more.
Right.
Because
even like just slightly.
Yeah, well, you don't run the risk of messing too much stuff up, because Spiral never shows you how connected it was with Jigsaw in the past. So it opened the door for there to be a lot more story there in that time. So you wouldn't risk messing up the timeline as much if you
Yeah.
if you just tie it in. And here's the thing: the big twist could be the post credit scene. I don't know. I don't know if the movie's gonna have a twist and there's a post credit scene. I think the movie. Ooh, God! You know what she looks like?
Gail Weathers?
No, did you ever watch Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide?
Mm-mm.
Bro, go to Google and search Ned's Declassified and Coconut Head.
Okay. Oh, what? You're gonna have to text me that, dude.
Hold up. Yeah, I'll put it.
I'll be right back. Just give me 1 second. Y'all go ahead and keep talking about this. I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think the best way to like continue the franchise after Saw X is to continue the Spiral story, because that's the only like avenue that they can go down. Especially when, like you're saying, Bearded, it's like they left it open ended because he said he's gonna go after more cops in other like stations and stuff. So I think it makes sense if it ties back into Spiral, and then we get another Spiral film. And also, just want to say, like come back. We'll come back to the Spiral thing, but I just want to say, like, the Saw franchise is like the only franchise where the villain wins every time. Like the villain wins every film, like all the way from Saw to Saw X. Like, we don't know, but, well, he's gonna win Saw X. So from Saw 1 to Saw X, the freaking Jigsaw wins all the time, whereas Freddy and Jason they don't really win.
Well, yeah, he's definitely not a traditional slasher, but I think it's supposed to be that he plans things out better.
Yeah, he's smart. He knows how to outsmart his victims, because he is pretty intelligent when it comes to his plan.
Man, I don't know. I don't like glorifying Jigsaw in the least bit, but yes, he does have. Yeah, Jamie, that's coconut head hair right there. Destin, check the private chat. I put a link in there. Just copy that link and put it in, and that's that's coconut head.
Oh, I've never seen this before. What?
So his name in the show is literally Coconut Head because of the way he looks.
That I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So but yeah, Jamie, that's the thing. Like it definitely does muddy it up because the people getting killed are typically bad people, but here's the thing: I don't think they're deserving of the situation that they get put in. Some of them really are.
Some of them,
like the dude who had to poke out his eyes in order to live, fully deserved the situation he was in. He was a bad person.
Yeah.
So fully deserving of it. But like the guy who was self-harming clearly had some issues that need to be worked out in therapy, not crawling through a Constantine wire mousetrap and killing himself. That's not what needed to happen.
Yeah.
And there was even one point where like Jigsaw was talking about someone like numbing stuff with like antidepressants. It's like, so you're thinking that if someone is depressed, they're not deserving of life? Like that's
yeah. Some of the things, it's kind of like, all right, we need these people to be like bad in order to be in these positions. Like, not just somebody that's like mentally might be a little ill. Like you can't.
Well,
you can't justify.
Here's the thing. You need it to be bad enough that they are deserving to be there, but not so bad that we want them to die. Like the guy the eye pokey thing. I'm not going to say what he was responsible for because we all know. I didn't want him to live. Like, in my opinion, he had already proven, because it was said that he was like taken to court or something like that. I think it was laid out that he had beat the justice system essentially. That's not a person I think who's going to be rehabilitated. So like, I didn't want him to live. So I think you gotta take into account the whatever got them there needs to be bad enough that they deserve to be there, but not so bad that they are deserving to survive it.
Yeah, I get it. And I know we got to wrap up here soon. We're going like 2 hours. We're over the midnight hour. About two more things, and then we can call it a night if that's okay with y'all. Y'all good with that?
Yeah, I'm good. I got 5 more minutes in me.
Yeah. Okay. Real quick, I'm gonna bring this up real quick, and y'all give me a real yay or nay, possibility, maybe, whatever. What do you think about Amanda? Let's just say a present day Amanda is still alive, because some of those are kind of like, yeah, that wasn't between Saw 1 and 2, you know. What do you think if Amanda and Daniel Matthews, because they did have a liking to one another, she was very protective of him, and I know he was just there for Detective Matthews. But what about Daniel, his son that survived all these years? We never saw him again. Could he have been taken under the wing of anybody?
I thought you were gonna say Amanda and Detective, like him as like a couple. I was like, I hope not, man, because he was like definitely underage and
no, not like a couple, but there was definitely a protection, like they had a connection. They had like a brother sister bond thing going on.
I always attributed that to the fact that she's still at this point very much under Jigsaw's spell.
Yeah,
and he told her, "You're going to be in the game to ensure his safety." Like that, I think that's even said it like as a line of dialogue in the movie, to make sure people follow the rules and to ensure his safety. So,
but what do you think the future of Daniel's character is, though?
Oh, he could definitely come back. Like that's a character who could come back and be, you know, be significant.
Robbie Mercer from Scream 4.
Yeah, he's gay.
He still got killed.
I always thought that he was lying.
I did too. In that, I thought it was like, I'm just making up something so I can survive in this moment.
Yeah, that's clearly all it was. Anyways, yeah, he could come back. That could be something. But here's the thing. That would definitely be a post-credit scene or a time jump, because that doesn't happen until after after Saw. What is that? Saw
2. This is Saw 2.
Saw 2. So yeah, that takes place after it. So we could the finale could be them kidnapping him.
Ooh, interesting.
Because that would be the first step to getting that done, is kidnapping him.
Yeah, very interesting. What do you think, Dom?
I don't know. That's tough, you know, because it could be a possibility. You know, they can do that because, you know, we didn't really know what happened to Daniel after Saw 2. So that could be a possibility. They can, as a creative choice, they probably made that, but who knows? We'll have to see. So I'll just say I'll give it a yay for that.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. One last question. We're gonna call it a night. It's been really fun with you guys, but I meant to bring this up earlier, and we've kind of dabbled into it a little bit, but it's definitely one of the questions that I had for tonight. Out of everybody that could possibly return, and this isn't everybody on the list because we've kind of added some, and besides Amanda, because Amanda is on this list, we know that she's coming back, and we have heard Hoffman's voice. But if this film ends off in a way to where we're pivoting into another timeline or another franchise, whether it be Spiral 2 or Saw 11, whatever they decide to do with this, Who do you think is going to take on the reins of John Kramer in return? Who do you want to see back?
Here's the thing. I actually liked Logan. I don't know why I liked his character. I like the PTSD angle coming back from the war. Maybe that has a little something to do with it. So I would pick him. I think logically the one that makes most sense is Shank. So he's called Emerson there. I think that might be his original name. But when he's in the police department, it was Detective Shank. So
Correct.
I think logically him. However, if I got to pick, I would think Logan.
Okay. Yeah. For me, if I had to pick, I would say Gordon, because he's still out there. Possibly he could be still running games for for the legacy of Jigsaw. But for now, like as we know, as we've seen on the screen, I would say Shank, Detective Shank, is definitely like the next step in like continuing the franchise in like a Spiral like 2 or something like that. Maybe they can introduce Gordon back into it and maybe tie him into Shank's character somehow. But who knows? That's just me guessing.
Yeah.
Here's something to consider as well. Logan also got away at the end of Jigsaw. Like, he walked right out.
Right.
So he's completely and he had successfully framed I forget the character's name, and he was also a corrupt cop. So we could be looking at something where Logan and Shank, because Logan was also modern day.
Mm-hmm.
So Logan and Shank could be working together to take down the system.
Yep.
That's true.
And I thought it would be really wild. I mean, we do know Amanda's back. We hear Hoffman's voice. I'm pretty sure he's back in some capacity.
The official Saw Twitter account also welcomed him back.
Right.
So I think it's a given at this point that Hoffman's going to be in some capacity. Whether or not he's actually working with Jigsaw is one thing, but he's definitely going to be in it.
Yeah. I could say that, like, since we do have 4 to 5 apprentices right here playing together, somebody could be turning on somebody. I could see Dr. Gordon, which I know Cary Elwes isn't big of the franchise. Like, he thinks maybe his shit doesn't stink type of attitude. Like, he doesn't want to do it. I don't know his reasons. But, he was in the recent new Mission Impossible movie. So I'm pretty sure he probably thinks, like, I'm too big for that. But wouldn't it be wild if, like, William and Logan, or even with Mark Hoffman, whoever's working together puts Dr. Gordon back in a trap with his only foot, and they put a saw out down there with him. Like, now you got to saw off your other foot just to get out. Like, I think that would be pretty crazy if they, like, ended on that note. Just because, like, I really don't feel like they utilized Dr. Gordon's reveal. They showed him too early in the movie. They should have let that be like the ending, like they it's like they popped their bubble way too early in that movie to where it wasn't that big of a deal by the end. It was like, oh, we already knew he was back. Why did you do it like that? Like, I really never understood, like, why they showed Gordon early on in the movie. They should have just waited to the very end. I think that movie would have hit a lot harder. But I'm with y'all. I think Logan, I think we might get, like, some tie-ins with all of them. Maybe not too much on Gordon. I mean, yeah, that would be awesome. But I know we got Amanda in here. She's going to be a main character. Hoffman's going to play in some capacity. Logan and William is the big question marks. I'm thinking that they might either be working together or might be doing their own thing. They might be doing their own traps and their own thing in their own way.
Well, we do know that Jigsaw is not a fan of copycats.
True that.
So it could be Logan representing Jigsaw searching out Shank for being a copycat. Because Logan is still ongoing. And when you refer to them turning on each other, well, we already know Hoffman does that because he did it to Amanda. He was blackmailing Amanda.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're going to get Dr. Gordon with any of the other ones, because John specifically, there was a line of dialogue, I forget which one it was, where he said, like, one of the things that Dr. Gordon provided was a level of anonymity, because he was not known as a follower of Jigsaw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's why, like, if anyone knew he was helping Jigsaw, he wouldn't have been at the survivors meeting.
You know what would be a crazy way to end this, and we'll end this stream with this. And thank you all for watching this tonight. And I'm looking so forward to having a stream after I see Saw X Thursday night. So be looking forward to a right out of the theater reaction of Saw X on Thursday. And I'm going to go live after that movie to go in more in depth. So wouldn't it be crazy if this movie ends on all, like, whether it be all the surviving characters throughout the franchise or maybe just the apprentices? Let's say Hoffman, let's say Logan, let's say Dr. Gordon, let's say William, or Detective Shank, whatever you want to call him. If it ends in all of them in traps, but it doesn't show them, it just ends that way.
Did you say Hoffman?
Yeah, like, I'm talking about all the apprentices. Like if it, like the movie's wrapped up, it's got a bow on it or whatever, but we do like this after credit scene to where Logan, Hoffman, Detective Shank, and Dr. Gordon are all, like, together in a room, but they're all, like, set in traps, and then the movie just cuts away.
Hoffman's dead.
Hoffman's going to be in this movie, though.
Well, yeah. Okay, so if we're going by the timeline, then Shank can't be in it because Shank is only 12 years old.
Right. You're right. That was.
I was like, wait. I was like, what do you?
I'm confusing myself here. Here.
Like, that's the thing. Like, if you're going modern time, you could have Shank, Gordon, and Logan.
Yeah.
And whoever the other two that were helping Gordon. Like, if you're going by current timeline, you could have them all there. That would be crazy. So it's like someone else overall came out to get it done. But yeah. I was about to say, when you said Shank, and I was like, wait a minute, Shank and Hoffman can't. No.
Yeah. You're right. You're absolutely right. I was just thinking on a whim there. Like, I was like,
oh yeah,
that would be like a really crazy ending to have, like, all the apprentices, like, all stuck in a trap and then in the movie. Like,
if you're going by the timeline are there, then you could have it. The current time of this movie, Logan, Amanda, Hoffman, and Gordon could all be in traps.
And I also want to mention, like, Hoffman. I'm pretty sure Hoffman's dead because by the time up to this point, he's definitely starved and dehydrated to death. So I feel like he's a rotten corpse at this point because he was locked in there and he's chained up and he has no saw or anything that cut his leg with or key or anything. So he's locked in there forever. And
unless somebody comes down there and releases him.
That's true. Like, we never saw him die. We saw, but then again, we're talking. That's if we're talking modern day. He's guaranteed to be in the movie because it's we're going back to 2004, 2005.
Yeah. Yeah. I just hope that whatever they decide to do, it's going to make sense. It's going to work. It's going to feel good because it has to give that feeling. If they are continuing it, which I feel like they will, if they are continuing it, we need that twist that the first and second movie gave us. We need that, like, that hit. That jaw-dropping moment to be like, okay, I'm back on Saul. This was great, and this all makes sense. Like I don't know. Fingers crossed. Hopefully this isn't a dud. Hopefully this isn't just a cash grab. If it is, hopefully it's still a lot of fun and it's got some really gnarly kills. The traps scenes are already starting to get released on YouTube, and I refuse to watch those because I'm like, if that's all the movie really has going for it, I'd like for it to just be fresh when I see it, So I'm staying away from watching the traps in those scenes. But yeah, everybody, you do you. But we will be back on Thursday night. I don't know what y'all got going, but I will be back on Thursday night after the movie.
I'm actually going to be on. I'm going to be on the panel for Halloween Fest 2 on Thursday night.
Yeah.
It's Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
Oh,
Over on Night Watch Zone's channel. I got the mask. Did you see? Did you see they released the Rob Zombie masks?
No. Where like where they released
Party City.
Wow.
So Trick or Treat Studios, the one who does all the other, they hadn't had rights to any of the Rob Zombie masks until this year. So they got there's 4 different ones. There's the very first one, before it's aged. Then there's the aged one. Then there's the dream one, which is the one I got, where it's like kind of bloody here and everything. And then there's like the final one from part 2 where half of it's missing. Mm-hmm. But Party City is actually carrying them now.
So not Spirit.
I haven't found them at any Spirits. I don't know why, but yeah, I haven't found them there.
That's their way to compete, I guess, this year. All right. Yeah, I got to look into that, man, because I do collect masks, as you can see back there. Whatever. Dude, that's sick. Is that one of them?
Yeah. Yeah, I found it in Party City the other day. Hold on a second. There you go. It's popped out.
Yeah, that's sick, bro.
Yeah, dude, it's...
How much was it?
There's 60.
Okay, just like normal.
Yeah, just like the normal ones, but dude, it's like... It's such good detail, and it's like thick too, so it actually looks like it'll hold up.
Yeah.
That's right, Jamie. Less than a month till Scarefest.
That's right. We're all gonna be kicking it.
Yeah, I was about to say, dude, I'm bringing the Scream board game so we can all play together.
Oh, are you talking about the Funko one?
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, dude, I was gonna buy that too.
Well, the problem is you can't play it virtually. So, yeah, I'm bringing it with me, and we can all play.
Hell yeah, dude!
Because I know there's gonna be there's at least like 6 of us that do streaming. So
yeah,
I was thinking, bro, we could all meet up in someone's room, have a game of it. We could all stream to each other, stream to our channels and play the game.
That would be crazy if we all go live at the same time and we're just kind of like streaming it. And
that's what I was thinking of doing, man. Like, I think it'd be fun. So
yeah, sounds like a plan, man. 3 weeks and some days, we will all be in heaven. I don't know, we're in hell, whichever one you want to call it.
I'm excited. I'm excited for it.
Yep. All right, so we're going to end it there. Dom, you got anything you want to add as far as like Saul or a plug-in for your channel or anything?
Yeah, actually, I know we touched upon leaks and stuff like for like Saw and stuff. I'm surprised like nobody has covered the Final Destination 6 leaks that happened in like a while. back. There was a leak on the casting that they were saying that Tony Todd is coming back to reprise his role as Bloodworth, and Devin Sawa to come back as Alex.
Oh, I have not seen that one.
I was about to say I didn't know that was happening. I honestly haven't kept up with Final Destination 6 at all.
Yeah, I did see the Tony Todd thing. Yeah. I'm pretty sure we're gonna be all over that here soon.
Well,
I'm a big
writers
Final
can
Destination fan.
almost go back to writing.
It's almost
an agreement was made, but it actually hasn't been signed or anything yet. So they're not picketing anymore, but they can't quite write yet. So,
Yep. We're about to be back in the swing of things. I know y'all got to go to bed. I got to go to bed. I'm exhausted. Got an early morning. Everybody, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. I will be back tomorrow night for a dose of horror. If y'all want to join me tomorrow night on the panel, I'm just going to be talking about the new Halloween news and just horror movies in general with everything that's coming out. It's just kind of like a generalization of just all the horror movies, Exorcist, everything, Pet Sematary, everything that's coming out. So yeah, it's going to be my weekly dose of horror live streams. So yeah, if y'all want to check that out, it'll be 10 p.m. Central, Wednesday night, tomorrow night. And Friday night, got Film Roast. We're going to start that back up. We got Night of the Creeps. We're going to be doing that Friday night. So that's going to be a lot of fun. If y'all want to come and stick around and hang out. I've never seen the movie, so this will be a first time watching. So I'm really excited. So yeah, thank y'all so much for hanging out with me tonight and talking some Saw. Yeah, it's a very confused. If there's any horror franchise that is confusing, Saw is the one because there's so much.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes on.
Yeah.
So
it's a very confused. If you watch them like in order and stuff, and there's like flashbacks to like the previous movies or before like Saw 1, and you're just like, wait, what's happening here? Like, how's this, or is this taking place in the timeline? Yeah, it's pretty confusing.
Yeah. You thought that Halloween timeline was crazy. This Saw kind of takes it. Thank y'all again. Everyone have a good night. It's after the midnight hour, and I hope y'all have a really good rest. And come back for tomorrow night live stream and Thursday night's live stream after I have seen the actual Saw X film, and I will give my thoughts. All right, love you all. I'll see you all when I see you all, and you know what that means. It means I'll be right back.